everybody, I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope you like that little opening montage with a little effect there at the end. And the reason I put that in there is the topic of today's video. And what is that? Ever since I started doing the Davinci Resolve videos, you know, how to do this, how to do that, how to add music, how to move this, how to zoom, I've been getting a lot of questions about how to add different effects like explosions. So let's get in here to the computer and I will answer that for you today. Alright, here we are at my computer. I got my files open for video clips. Now I'm going to open Davinci Resolve. And the cool thing about this is you can use just about any effect and any sound, and put it just about anywhere using Davinci Resolve. And I'm going to show you how simple it actually really is. Now you have to figure out where you want to get your sound effects from. I always use the free ones off of YouTube. Just type in a search, free explosion. And as you're typing, you'll see all kind come up. Free explosion effect. And there'll be tons and tons and tons of them, see? And since it's free, you're not going to get a copyright strike using it, or no problem. I don't like using the green screen ones because what I typically do is I use the add feature in Dissolve, and I'll show you that here in a second. But this is one of the ones that I used for the opening. So then all you have to do is get it off of YouTube. However you do it, I use Streamable, and if you look at my video where I show how and where to get music from, you'll see how and what and all that good stuff I use to get the stuff off YouTube to my computer. So at this point I'm going to assume that you've already got the effect. I'm going to close that out. I now have Davinci Resolve open. I'm going to open up a new project. I'm going to go into my video files and pull out the things that I want to use. I know I use that one, that one, that one, that one, and this one. I'm going to highlight them all, drag them down in Davinci Resolve, and put them up into my media pool. You always want to click change, and there you go. Now all you have to do is arrange them the way you want them arranged. Go to headlight first, the fog light. Well, let's do the fog light first. Is that right? Fog light first, then the headlight. Went too far with it. Headlight. Then I want to do the instrument cluster or the radio section. Then I want to do the instrument cluster. Then I want to do the rear end tail lights. But you can put them in any certain order that you want. It does not matter. It's totally up to you. And the cool thing about this, I'm just showing you, giving you the knowledge of how to do this, how to use it, and then your imagination controls the rest. Whatever you can come up with, well, it works for anything, trust me. But when you're doing the add like I do, I have found that the add is the simplest way to add an effect. Whenever you, let me go back and show it to you. Whenever you do let's see, I need to be in here. Whenever you do an effect, if you get one that has a lot of black, in Davinci Resolve, once you click on add, anything black will be gone. Anything color will stay, if that makes sense to you. And since I'm here getting this already, I'm just going to go ahead and drag this one in because it's the one I'm going to use. I'm going to drag it down to Davinci Resolve. So now I have my video clips in arrangement, and I now brought in my visual effect. But what you just saw me a second ago, the green down here at the bottom, for those that have never done this, is your audio. Your top is your video. It always brings them in as two files, and you can control either or separately. Well, since we're going to be using music and sound effect, we don't, even though there's nothing there, let me show you. Even though there's nothing there, except for the car running, I don't want that sound in my video clip, my intro. So I just go through and I click on the little bar. If you hold your cursor over the line right there, you can left click it and drag it down or drag it up, depending on what you want to do. But drag it all the way down and that gets rid of it. Or you can click on the chain link. You see it highlighted right here. And if you click it and unhighlight it, you can now just click on that one section, right click it and delete it, or hit delete on your keyboard after you do it, and just get rid of the sound all the way around together. It's totally up to you on how you want to do it. I just normally either overlay the music section on top of it or just turn it all the way down. But there you go. We now have our video clips in the arrangement that we want. Now let's get our music. Get the music the same way you get the video files. And I'm just going to go down here and I know which one I'm going to use. I think that it's this one. So let me back out of there, grab it down to Davinci Resolve, and as you see, it brought in the whole clip. And there's a certain order you need to do this whenever you do a montage, a music video, anything. Always bring in your video clips, then add the music, or you can switch it, either or. But the point is, you want to try to get your video clips to match the music, the tone of the music, the speed of the music, the feel that you want, yada 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 yada. And I know I'm rambling, I'm trying to go through this quick. But whenever they load anything to YouTube, you can't just load a music file, because YouTube is for videos. You have to have a video file attached. And in this piece, when they created the music file, all they did was just add a picture. That's what you see there. But we need to get rid of that. Again, you drag it down, click the chain, because that links these two together. That's what the chain stands for. Chain link the video and the audio together. Click on that and unhighlight it. Now you can click on the video file, right click, delete selected. Now that's gone. Now all you do is just drag your timeline back over, move the music back like you want it, grab your razor blade and go to the end. It'll auto, if you've got a short file and a long file, whenever you drag your cursor over the audio, it'll always lock on to the end of the video file, and then you just click it. Now go back up and get your pointer, because I'm telling you, I've done it before. You'll come down here and go to click on something and highlight it, delete it, whatever, and you'll cut it again. You don't want to do that. Now you just go over, highlight, hit delete on your keyboard, and it's gone. Now you can't just, well you can, but it doesn't sound good, and I'll show you. What I typically do is add a fade on the end of it, and the easiest way I have found to add a fade, if you go right to the top right corner of the audio file, once you get over to the audio file, you'll see this little white pointer come up. Just grab and hold it with your cursor, click and hold it with your mouse, and you can now drag it as far as you want. Alright? And just watch your counter. That's 8 seconds in, that's 13 seconds in. I normally go somewhere, I don't know, 9 seconds. That way it fades out if I know I'm going to have another effect. And I don't want the effect to be exactly at the end. But let me get rid of this so I can show you what I'm talking about as far as it doesn't sound good. Now I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag the explosion over here in the blank spot and let it be. Okay. Now the reason I did that, because if I try to drag it down here, it's going to try to overlap it. But if you bring it down, click it and pull up, it'll separate two. Now you can put it over. Now all you do is hit your up arrow a couple times and it takes it back to the beginning of the file. And here's what it looks like this. Yeah, I'm telling you, it won't sound good with the music and the explosion all going. Here we go. Now, there's three things I hope you paid attention to, and I'll back it back up in a second after I explain it. The first, when you hear the music going and it just stopped. The explosion went off and the music just stopped. That doesn't sound very professional. You need the two to mesh together, to work together. Like a video clip and an audio clip should. They work together, otherwise there's no need to have them. And if you noticed, when the explosion went off, the car disappeared completely. Well, we don't want that. We want the car to kind of blend in with the explosion, then at the very last second disappear. So let me play that part again. Alright, now the first step is getting the music to fade. So I'm just going to grab that little pointer, like I said, and drag it over to about 9 seconds. Now watch the difference. Now see how at the end of the explosion, the music is completely gone? And it just sounds so much better. Now, to get the explosion to show the car as it explodes, here's what you do. You have to think of, and I know most of you guys don't know a lot about photography, and I understand that, but anytime you do anything, and I want you to remember this because as you work with Davinci or photography, you know, photos, if you'll remember this, it makes it so much easier to understand. Anytime you do anything with photos or videography, you have the picture, okay? Let's use this one. You have the picture. Well, I'm wanting to put the explosion in, so I have to bring the explosion in and drop it on top. Well, when it hits that marker, it's going to show the explosion and not the car, because the explosion is now the main point of interest. It is now the focal point because it is in front of the car, if that makes sense. To eliminate that, the first thing I want to do is click on the explosion file, right? And that brings up all this stuff up over here. Go up and click on video. When that comes up, here's where all the magic happens, and it is so easy you won't believe it. If you look, and I know depending on which model you use, I think it's up to 16 now. I'm still on 14. Old habits die hard, and I know I really need to do it, but I just have not changed. But the basic layout might look a little different, but all the controls are still the same. They're still there. They still work because I have it on my laptop. But if you'll go to the layout tab of the file you're using, and the first box will be composite, and that's how this shows up. Okay, right now it's showing up as the video clip. Well, since we want to add that explosion to the car video clip, what do you think you do? It's so easy, it's ridiculous. Watch this. See where it says normal? Click that box and it gives you a drop down, and the first one, add. Wow, think about that. You are adding that to the car file. Now watch what happens when I click it. And you can now see the taillights of the car. Now that you've gotten the explosion added to the car, what do you do next to make it look like it's actually exploding and the car is disappearing? Because if we just play it now, watch what happens. Not much to it, right? Now, granted, you could do this and have text come in and leave the taillights there and put your channel name in there. However you want to do it. Like I said, your imagination is your only limitation with this program. But I don't want that. What I want is about middle ways of the explosion. I want the taillights to disappear. So guess what? You know, we had the fade down on the music. You can also do that to video clips. Go over to, hover over the video clip, and you see the two corners light up. Grab that one on the right and drag it across to the left. Now you see how it's fading, and that's just halfway in. So when it gets to the very end, the taillights will be completely gone. Watch. See it starting to work together now? See it starting to mesh? Ah, it's amazing. Now, one final touch. This explosion. We want it to take up the whole screen because we're exploding a car. You know, we want the car to explode off the screen. So how do you fix that, do you reckon? Well, it also is very simple. You get the explosion, alright, it starts out small, get it about halfway in your clip of the explosion. Click on the explosion and that brings this box back up. Okay? Now if you go down to the second box, see where it says transform? The very first one, zoom. You're going to click, take your pointer, put in there your cursor, right? Your cursor in this box right here, put it in there, and then all of a sudden it changes to a right and a left. If you left click it and hold it, drag it to the left, it'll go one size, drag it to the right, it'll go another size. And then you just tell it wherever you want it to, whatever size you want it to be. But I'm going to shrink it back down for just a second. Let's say you're standing there holding something and you want it to explode out of your hands, right? You can sit there and make it as small and as big as you want. Okay? That takes care of the zoom part. Now if you go down to the very next box, you got position. X will be your left and your right. Y will be your up and down. You watch. I'll click the Y and drag it. Takes it down, takes it up. Went too far. But you get the gist of it. And then like I said, the X section takes it left and right. It is so cool. So cool. And if you happen to make a mistake about your position, all you got to do is click the little circle, the backward circle with the arrow on it, over here to the right. And what that does is it rewinds it, takes it back to where you was. But for this video clip, this tutorial, we want it to be almost full screen and we want the car to disappear. Now watch what happens. See how the car completely disappears as the fire disappears? Now you can actually take that and drag it over all the way over to the corner, and that's as dark as you can get. Or you can go into your video transitions over here and find one that will work and actually make it darker. See, like, let me slide it all the way over to the right. Let's see, which one will work? Let's just try triangle left, see what happens. And since I'm doing it from the left, I need to put it on the right side. Well, let's try it there. Let's put it on the whole thing, that way it takes... Let's see what happens. That's just another way to make it disappear. I'm not using that effect because I like the other way better. And that's it. That is how you add an explosion to any video. And just to prove that it will work with something light, let me find another clip and I'll be right back. Alright, let's just try, I don't know, let's just grab one and drag it in and see what we'll come up with. Put it over here in the media pool. I want to get rid of all this stuff. Gone. Now, going to drag in this one. And this is from a video that I done that I haven't posted yet, so you'll probably get to see this before the video comes out. And at times this is fine, you know. But you see, as quick as it comes in, I can sit there and just say that I'm going to use, I don't know, this amount of the video. And I want this effect to be at the very beginning. Okay? So now what I want to do is drag in the explosion, put it where I want. And what do we do to get that to work with the other clip? You click it, composite mode, and we're going to add it. Now look, there it is. See what happens. And at times it's fine. You know, when you need... Now see, you can leave it just like that, or you can find exactly where you want it to be. And like, that's a pretty large explosion, right? So what do? You go up to zoom. You get the effect about halfway, go up to zoom, and then you can drag it and make it as big as you want. And then you go down to position, and I know that I need to go up and left. So let's position it either or, it doesn't matter, left, and then I want to go up. And now it's right over the bottle. Watch what happens. Because you're watching me talk, you're not paying attention to what I have in my hand at that very instant.
Edit time is fine. You know when you...
Now if it's off a little bit like that was just now, right? I can either let it play to where the bottle's where I want it and drag the explosion.
Edit time, this is fine. You know, we knew no different.
Or I can put it at the very beginning, put my timeline at the very beginning, and move the effect over to here. Go one in. One click. I need to get the effect to start showing up. There it is. Alright, I know that's the size I want, so now we're going to move it over to the right. Went too far. And bring her down. Back over that way just here. Now let's watch what happens.
Edit time is fine. You know, we knew
your
different.
Imagination is the only limitation again. There's so much you can do with this. And again, it'll work with any effect out there. You just have to find the one that you want to use. Doesn't matter. Like, let's just grab another one real quick. Let's see, let's go here. I'm trying to find one. Let's use the smoke. Just because the smoke is cool. Have a little bit of smoke after the explosion.
Edit time is fine. You know, when you knew...
Got a head in also. Head?
We knew no
And then now there's the light.
Like I said, waxing.
But that's all there is to it. I'm going to close this out and then finish up this in there at the door so you can see me. Ah yes, almost the end of another beautiful day. I got to go back to work tomorrow. Just had a day off for Memorial Day weekend and I'm home alone and got bored and I wanted to do a video showing you how to do this because I've had so many requests. But that is truly it, guys and gals. It is that simple. You can use this if you just pay attention to what I just told you in that video about how layers work. If you sit there and imagine what I'm saying, you know, you've got the picture here and you take another picture and put it over it. You're going to see this picture, lots of birds out there flying around. You're going to see the top picture and not see the bottom picture. So you have to figure out how to get the top one to work with the bottom one. And you're adding it, so there you go. But don't just stop with what I'm showing you. Take the time and play around and use some of the other effects like the linear burn or the dodge or multiply, just all that stuff. Play around with it because you're not hurting the original file. The original file is still there. And then if you don't like what you just did, like I said, all you got to do is hit Control and Z at the same time. That'll delete what you just did and took you back to the beginning. Or you can just delete the whole thing, the whole section, and start over because the original file is still up there in the top left corner. It's not going to change. The only thing that will change is when you save it. When you save it, it'll save what you're working on down at the bottom, but the top is still the same. Nothing will be disturbed. It's not like Photoshop. But yeah, you can use it with sound, you can use it with effects, you can use it with other video clips to get them to blend together. Like I said, your imagination is your only limitation. I know that sounds kind of corny and lame, but it really is. All you got to do is figure out what you want to do, use the tips that I just showed you, play around with it, and figure out how to do it. It's that simple. I'm trying to give you the basics and the foundations, and you figure out what you want to do with it. You know, I can't sit there and show you exactly, oh, you want to do this, this is how you do it. Figure it out. Now with all that said, alright squirrels, y'all quit that. Squirrels out there are trying to have a little bit too much fun. Yeah, hey squirrel. You on camera, I say hey to YouTube. What, you camera shy? Dang you. With all that said, you guys get those videos going. It's not that hard. Very simple. And until then, we'll see you in the next video. You guys take care. Now get out there and enjoy your car. Thanks a lot for watching.